majority of borrowers who utilize studentaid.gov, you use it to log into your student aid account. But there's more than just logging into your student aid account when you go to the student aid website. And that's the thing with being a federal student loan borrower, we have to make sure that we have an understanding of everything when it comes to our federal student loans. Because even though right now I know there's a lot of information, there's a lot that is going on with federal student loans. And sometimes we're just focused on going into repayment and not necessarily knowing what is taking place on the back end of these federal student loans. How exactly did the system become as it is right now? But we have to know that. And I mean, for everyone, it may not be your cup of tea to understand how things work. But for me, I love to know how things work. I love to know how the process is. I love to know what procedures and all of those things that are happening, what went into this entire system and the reason why it is today. And like I said, usually when you use the student aid website, you go to studentaid.gov. The first thing you do is just log in. You go straight to your account. But what's important to know about the student aid website, every single thing on this website is important information and things that you should know, okay? One thing of which is scrolling all the way down to the bottom of the screen. There's little tabbies down here that will get you to more information about the student aid website and the system, the processes, everything in general. And one thing I like to do is go to the data center because the data center houses a lot of information. And it tells you a story about how the systems are what they are as they stand. So let me just show you some things, okay? If this isn't your thing, hey, if you just want to go into your student aid account and just stick to your loans, you have every right to do that. But for me, I like to know how things work. So one of which, when you go into the data center, shows you everything about the back end portions in the sense on how things are being processed on the end, how the student loan system is operating. Not only that, it also shows you the business side of it. So there's where the contracts are with the loan servicers, any complaints. It shows you the reports, everything that is happening with programs like borrow defense to repayment, public service loan forgiveness, closed school discharges, all of those different programs. It shows you where the Department of Education is with processing those particular applications, what the performance of those programs are. Okay. So one thing about student aid data. So if you went to the data center, you get your list here. We can go to student aid data, school data, FEL, FFEL, program lender and guarantee agency, business information resources. But we're going to go to student aid data first, and then we'll come back and go to the business part of it. Under student aid data, this is where you're able to see all of the different reports, and it just depends on what report that you're looking for. We got application volume reports, Title IV program volume by schools, the federal student loan portfolio, default rates, and loan forgiveness reports. Now, I did a video previously about the lawsuit against the Department of Education by the American Federation of Teachers suing them. Go back a video, you'll be able to see that. But here's where you can see the loan forgiveness reports, the borrow defense report, teacher loan, public service loan forgiveness, automatic closed school discharge report, all of that information there. And if you're someone who put in a borrow defense application, I'm gonna do a separate video about borrow defense. There's just a lot with that in general. But this is where you can see where the Department of Education is within making decisions on the application. You'll be able to see all of the information in regard to the different schools, what applications are pending, what have been approved, settlement relief, what's been denied, what's been closed, and what's been received. So you want to go back and look at that information, okay? Especially if you're someone who has an application that is either pending or whatever the case may be. We're going to go back. So I'm just going to hit the back arrow. It's going to take us